still inspiring. I just feel like I just took the cards that were dealt me and I just dealt with it, you know. So I moved out to Tooele about a year ago at the end of May of 2012, and I was in a program. I was training for a half marathon, and I was out one Saturday morning for an early morning run to beat the heat at the end of June, and on my way back after about 8.5 miles, I got hit by a car. I was struck by a drunk driver who hit me and then left me there. And then I was found about 10 minutes later and life flighted to Salt Lake City to the IMC trauma center when I was in the ICU for a week, and I was in rehab for 2 weeks up at the University of Utah, and I broke both my legs, my left arm, fractured my pelvis and a few vertebrae, and got a really bad concussion. No internal organs were punctured or anything, no internal bleeding. And I had to kind of relearn how to do everything. I had to relearn how to walk, I had to relearn how to use my left hand again, you know, things like this. And so I was in therapy for 9 months, and I just finished about a month ago. And so yeah, I have gone through quite the experience in the last year, but it's been awesome. I'm to the point where I can now say I view it as more of a blessing than a trial. If you had asked me 6 months ago, it would have been a trial. But I feel like I have had so many opportunities present itself from this. You know, I started a campaign, a Bloggers Against Drunk Driving campaign that we did for a week, and just kind of got the word out there, and I invited people to just take a stand against drunk driving, to stand up for sobering up. And it was an awesome response. We had tons of people posting on Facebook and Twitter just saying that they're not okay with drunk driving, and that's all that mattered to me, was that I just wanted people to take a stand and say this isn't something that's okay, because we have once a day at least someone will get hit by a drunk driver, and usually they'll die, and it's something that's 100% preventable. And that was my big push, is that it's totally preventable. This didn't have to happen to me, and it did because of someone else's choices. But I have, people tell me that I am inspiring because I'm always so positive, and I tell them that I just felt like I had two choices. I could either be depressed and lay in bed all day, or I could just get over it and work my butt off. And so that's what I did. I used the same methods that I used for my half marathon training in learning how to walk again and learning how to live my life again. I always say running is 90% mental and 10% physical, and that's how my recovery was. It was all mental. There were days where I didn't want to get out of bed, and I just didn't want to face the world, and I just told myself to get up and get going. And you know, I may not get dressed that day, but at least I got out of bed, and that was my accomplishment. And I always set goals for myself, and sometimes it's hard for me because I get frustrated that I'm not where I want to be. You know, I want to be back running 9 miles again and training for a half, but I'm about 12 months ahead of schedule. They told me it would be a year before I was walking without any assistance, and it would be 2 years before I was running again. And I walked without assistance at month 4, and I ran for the first time again at month 7, which was really exciting. So I'm up to a mile now. I'm not very fast, but I can go a mile. It's been awesome, and I think the biggest thing I've learned is patience, and I still feel like I have a long way to go on that. But when you're put in a situation where you don't have control over moving your legs, you know, I woke up in that hospital bed and I couldn't move my legs, I couldn't move my arm, I was totally immobilized. I had 2 surgeries at that point, totaling like 15 hours of surgery. I was on the highest pain medication can be. They asked my husband, you know, either she gets on this pain medication, which has some serious consequences in the future, or she's in a medical induced coma, which also has consequences. So he had to choose, and he knew that I wouldn't want to be in a coma, that I wouldn't want to wake up 3 weeks later with not knowing what happened, and so I was on this drug, and still in a lot of pain, even on this really bad drug. And I remember I used to have these really bad anxiety attacks in the hospital because my whole life had been shattered. I thought it was the end. I thought that I would never ever be able to run again, which is one of my passions. I love it. It's my therapy, and I thought I would never be able to do it. And I remember one time in particular where I was really down on myself, and I just was really like, woe me, my whole life sucks. And my husband turned to me and he goes, what are you talking about? Like, you have the best life, you have the best care, your whole family dropped everything. They were here within 5 minutes, how many people can say that? And they stayed, my family, I had 24-hour care for 3 weeks where my family would take rotations. They signed up on a calendar to come hang out with me, and I was never alone the whole 3 weeks I was in the hospital. And then I got home and they threw me this big party. I mean, I really he kind of just pointed out that I actually had a lot going for me. I had no internal organs ruptured. I had, I would walk again. He's like, you could have been paralyzed. You could have been dead. That was the thing that hadn't hit me, was like, you're right, I should have died. Not I could have died, it was I should have died. I should not have lived through that. He was going about 35, 40 miles an hour. And I think, luckily, somehow when I came off the car, I landed on my right leg instead of my head. And it busted my right knee and caused problems there, but it saved my life, and so I do have so many blessings, and I just don't feel like I can ever complain about anything, and people will always say, oh, you're so inspiring, and I don't feel inspiring. I just feel like I just took the cards that were dealt me, and I just dealt with it, and so I feel like I have tried to live up to the expectation people have of me. And that's the biggest thing, is that I want to feel like I'm inspiring to other people, and that's what I've been trying to do as far as the way I interact with people. Like I said, I feel like I'm more patient. I hope that I'm more loving, and I try and appreciate every day a little bit more. And the things that I can do, because I know it can just go away in an instant. I don't think people realize that. Know that life is very fleeting, and you really don't know what day will be your last. And I hope that you get to live a long and healthy life, but that may not be the case. So take everything that you have and enjoy it, every minute of it. When you walk up the stairs without any pain, know that that's a blessing, and it may not seem like it, but it is. And when you can pick your kids up, that's a blessing. Not everybody has that. Just remember that no matter how hard your life gets, how hard trials get, they end, and there's always another side, and it will always be greener on the other side. And just keep that in mind as you go through life, and remember that life is meant to be enjoyed, not just endured.